I've literally just gone up and kind of placed the dog on him, and he's bitten him. I mean, we train arm bites and leg bites, but he's bitten him on the side, on the love handle, which has made him... It's probably one of the more interesting screams I've heard in my career.
Hello and welcome to Off Duty, the new Derbyshire Constabulary podcast. My name's Joey. I'm joined by Andy Shaw, our resident dog handler. 13 years in the force.
Yep.
So we'll get to know you and some of your four-legged and two-legged colleagues and understand a bit more about dog handling in Derbyshire.
Can't wait. Best job in the force.
Oh, please! Come to the front door! There's something tasty thing off!
Derbyshire Police, how can I help?
I've got a woman here covered in blood.
Anna is 1425 and I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder.
So Andy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
The first guest.
Well, yeah, what an honour.
No
What
pressure.
an honour. No pressure.
So take us through what a standard day in the day of a dog handler is. What does that look like for you, a day at work?
Standard day. I don't think there is such a thing as a standard day in the police, let alone being a dog handler. But I will run you through a normal day shift, shall we say. So I will get up, depending on the weather and how I'm feeling. It'll either be the dogs will have a quick run, 10-minute run around the garden, and so they can have a good leg stretch, or I'll take them both for a quick spin around the block, just because obviously they need to do what they've got to do first thing in the morning. And then I'll sort myself out, breakfast, cup of tea, cup of coffee, and then I'll try to leave my house, 10 past 6, something like that, to get in plenty of time for 7. I'm sure my colleagues will say I'm not always on plenty of time, but I'll then give the dogs another run. We've got a field down at dog section, so they'll then have a good leg stretch round there. I'll then get all my kit ready for the day, which will be collars, harnesses, leads, body armour for the dog, body armour for me, all my kit, water, snacks, again for me and the dogs. And then they'll get loaded up into the car, and that'll be me ready to go, waiting for the first job to come in.
And who are your dogs? What are the dogs that you've got?
So I've got 2 dogs. I've got my general purpose dog, the big bitey one. He does more than that, but that is generally what police dogs are known for, isn't it? So he's called Yolo. He came with the name, wasn't my choice. He's a big black German Shepherd, all black. He's a big lad, big lump, and he's currently 4. And then I've got Rosie, who is my specialist search dog, who's also 4, and she's a little black lab. And she is quite small for a lab as well. So.
And Yolo,
Yes.
that was a new handling. So how does that work?
So Yolo was he was the dog I got when I joined dog section. So I obviously you go through all the recruitment process, you get the job, you start on the Monday. Your dog's in kennel, I think he was in kennel 9. His name's Yolo. Go and say hello. And so you're presented with this, and he's a big dog, absolute bear of a dog. He's what is he at the moment? 46, 47 kilos. So he's getting on for 8 stone. But again, at that point, he's quite a green dog. So although he'd done a little bit of bite work and things, he wasn't a trained police dog. So he was quite friendly. He still is to me. But yeah, and again, it's just bonding with them, playing with them. I spend more time with him and Rosie now than I do with anyone else. So it's just building that relationship. It's like anything when you start a new team. It's just getting to know what they like, what they don't like, what triggers them, what doesn't, and that's for both of us, because obviously he did things when I first got him which I wasn't particularly fond of, and I've got the scars to prove it. And equally, I'd do things that he wouldn't be particularly happy with, and it's getting that balance and then figuring each other out and getting that working relationship.
Yeah, because I suppose at the end of the day, you're both relying on each other when you're out there, aren't you?
Very much so, yeah. Me rely on him more than him on me. Definitely.
Someone's got to open the door, I suppose.
Yeah. Although he can open doors.
That's terrifying to know. It's like a velociraptor.
Yeah, as long as they swing. It's not great when they shut behind him. You can't pull them open, but he'll quite happily smash through a door. So, but yeah, it's very much a partnership in everything we do. He's looking out for me, and I'm looking out for him.
And you said he's a general purpose dog. What does that mean then? What?
There's several skills that they've got. So the first one is just the presence. Obviously, they're big, they're intimidating, they bark. 9 times out of 10, that's enough when we're dealing with unsavoury characters and angry people. They will also defend themselves and us. So if someone's trying to attack us or a colleague, we will send them, or autonomously they can do it as well. If they feel threatened, they can bite. They will chase and detain. So if someone runs off, we will send the dog to chase them and then detain them. So chase and detain, it should be a bite and a hold. We're not wanting the dogs to savage people and cause them horrific injuries. It does happen sometimes, but more often than not, that's I can't say fault, but that's as a result of something that the offender has done rather than the dog's training.
So actions, if
someone fights a dog, the dog's going to fight back is the top and bottom of it. And dogs will bite as hard as dogs bite if they need to. So they do the defending, the chase and detain. They will track. So if someone runs from a vehicle, for example, they will pick up the scent and will follow that person to find out where they've gone. They'll find property. So if someone has thrown an item off their person, anything with recent human scent, basically, they will find that in an open area. So if you imagine a park. And there's middle of the night, someone's gone through there and we think they've dumped something that we might be interested in. It would take a lot of officer hours to search that park thoroughly. The dog will do it in minutes, in theory. But no, we train them a lot with that. So bite work, tracking, building searches as well. If someone's in a building, we'll send them in and they will find them. And that's slightly different with the chase and detain. And the bite work, so they should indicate by a bark. So if someone's hiding in a building, dog finds them, they'll bark to let us know they've found someone. Unless, of course, said person then wants to find the dog, and then dog, as previously mentioned, will rightfully defend itself.
And how long does that training take then for, I suppose, do you do that alongside when it's a new handle?
Yeah, baby steps. So because very much, I'd had dogs all my life, but I'd never had a big dog. I'd never had a German Shepherd. I'd never worked with dogs. Although when you've got a pet, you train them to a certain level. But with your pet dogs, you're very much training them to not bite and not do things that you want a working dog to do. So yeah, it's very much small steps to get them where you want, because you can quite easily overload, especially me with my cognitive ability, but you can overload the dog and the handler when you throw too much. So, yeah, you start off doing really short tracks, very simple bite work, nothing too ramped up, just all nice and calm, just to get the dog comfortable with it. Really simple building searches. So we'd search just a room and somebody be hiding in a cupboard. And then we'll go to 2 rooms and they're in a cupboard, 3 rooms, and then you'll build that up to a huge building. And they might not be in a cupboard, they might be in a crawl space in the roof, or you'd be amazed where we can fit people. And obviously not only are we training with our dogs as the handler, but we're also assisting. So on my initial intake, on my course, there was 3 of us, but we're all stooging for each other as well. So we're all taking bites off each other's dogs, we're hiding for each other's dogs, which is as fun as it sounds. It's brilliant. Trying to think of inventive ways where to hide and how to not confuse a dog, but just make it interesting.
What's it like taking a bite off 8 stone dog?
You don't take bites off your own dog, so I don't know. Although we have got some. So even though he's big and he does bite hard, he doesn't hit hard, if that makes sense. So he's very much, he'll run up and grab, whereas some of the dogs, they'll launch themselves, 5, 6, 7 meters away. So you'll be taking a dog at 30 miles an hour mid-air on your arm. Yeah, it hurts. There's no 2 ways about it. Although we wear the big suits and the pads, that just stops the puncture wounds, really. You still get the crushing pain. I mean, I'm doing quite well at the moment because I'm not taking a bite for a while. But yeah, you'll get bruises. We've all got bruises on our arms, scars. Yeah, the level of injuries we all get is I've never worked anywhere and had so many injuries constantly. But I play with dogs that bite, and you're gonna get nipped. So, but yeah, it's good fun. I don't think if you didn't think it was fun, the job probably isn't for you. Because it's fun facing down a dog and getting bitten, and then having a bit of a wrestle with it. Yeah, it's good fun.
So you've gone through your training.
Yep.
What was that first sort of shift out like with you and Yolo?
Yeah, daunting, because I'd been a police officer 10 years at that point, but I only had to really worry about myself and my colleague. It's hard to describe. It's just a completely different way of working as it's such a unique role because you work very much alone, and you're going out to find some particularly not nice people on you and your dog, and you're going to encounter some of the worst of society. So yeah, it takes a bit of getting used to, but like anything that's new, you soon get your head around it, and again, trust your dog. That's a big ethos, and in the dog handling world, trust your dog.
Can you remember the first bite that Yolo delivered?
Yeah, I can, because it was 2 in very rapid succession. So it wasn't New Year's Eve, it was New Year's Day. It was 1 minute past midnight. So at some point, I would have had the most bites in the country in 2025. So yeah, Chesterfield, Chatsworth Road, if anyone knows it. Sure they do. Quite a few pubs on there. Obviously, New Year's Eve, it was busy. Lots of alcohol, lots of people having fun. And as always, someone maybe not behaving as they should do. I was going to use some words I probably shouldn't have done. So yeah, a well-known character in the Chesterfield area. Anyway, reports came in. I was just near Queen's Park, so not far. Reports coming in, assault in progress. And as I'm driving up Chatsworth Road, I can hear on the radio local officers are already there because they're patrolling that area because it's New Year's Eve, and they're having a foot chase with this chap. And I could see them in the far distance because luckily the police officers were wearing high vis, so I could see them sprinting up Chatsworth Road. The chap's running, turns right, I think down Schoolboard Lane. So I turn right down there, and as I turn there, the police officer's already wrestling with this chap, and he's throwing punches at the police officer. He's been gassed, and he's still throwing punches. So at that point, I've made the decision, right, I'll deploy the dog. Clearly not because I'm not going to. He was a big chap. I'm not going to get hands on and have a proper fight with him because he's going to get injured. I'm going to get injured. We're all going to get injured. So yeah, I got Yolo out and gave the chap fair warning. He was still kicking off, so I've literally just gone up and kind of placed the dog on him, and he's bitten him. I mean, we train arm bites and leg bites, but he's bitten him on the side, on the love handle, which has made him. It's probably one of the more interesting screams I've heard in my career, because I imagine that would be
Fleshy, but
quite painful. The only problem was, it's had the desired effect. The chap's given up pretty much instantly, being cuffed. But however, in the melee, there's another female police officer, Jodie. I'm sure she won't mind. She was quite proud of the fact. She's kind of bumped into me in the melee. Anyway, so Yolo's come off and redirected and bitten her. Luckily, she had a stab vest on. But yeah, so my first bite turned into 2, and not the prettiest of bites, but it happens. He's done nothing wrong because he's seen her as a threat towards me as well. Because the police dog, they don't see uniform. I'm the friendly one. Everyone else is potential threat. So I think it's a common misconception, maybe in the public and especially or I know it is among some colleagues, that the dogs are trained not to bite police officers. The dogs don't care. That everyone's fair game, and they love it. They absolutely love it. So he bit that chap, and then unfortunately bit Jodie as well. She was all right. I think she had some bruising and a little bit of a puncture, and she needed a new stab vest. But other than that, she was fine. She got a little trophy for it. So,
so with Rosie then,
yes,
less bitey, more sniffy.
Yeah, that's probably a fair description.
Another T-shirt for you.
Yeah, less bitey, more sniffy. Although she is very much the boss of Yolo, despite being far smaller. She tells him off all the time because he plays quite roughly, and she'll tell him that's enough now, and he looks surprised when he's gets nipped. But yeah, so she's a little black lab, like I say, 4 and a bit years old. That's
obviously a very different skill set, and I'd imagine is it a different relationship with that dog as a result?
But yeah, so the relationship's different. I trust him, not to sound dramatic, but with my life and my safety, whereas I'm trusting her to put really potentially serious criminals in prison. So yeah, I've got equal amount of respect for them because she is brilliant at what she does, and he's pretty good at what he does. So, but yeah, very much a different relationship. When we're at work, when we're at home, they're both just we're all just three idiots together. So it's no change.
What kinds of places are you going into? Obviously, it could be virtually anywhere that an offence has taken place.
Yep.
But that could be from a very small room to, like you said before, an entire park.
Just wherever that type of offence, obviously a serious sexual offence can occur, which is effectively anywhere, we'll search it. And it's quite an involved process because we are looking for such microscopic amounts, or minute, not microscopic, that's at the other end once we found it, so minute amounts that the dog is hoovering up every square inch of the scene. If it's there, the dog will find it, and I'm more than confident saying that, because time and time again, through live jobs and training, she's done it. So, and it still blows my mind when we're putting such small amounts out, and the dog's gone, yeah, it's there. Whereas you could get everyone in this police force in that room, they wouldn't find it. And we've had it where Socko have been through scenes, found nothing, dog's gone in, very, very quickly gone, yep, it's there. Yeah, it's an interesting line of work, but a really rewarding one. And that's just from the dog finding stuff. But obviously on the back end of that is people going to court and getting put in prison.
Like you say, that must be an incredible feeling for you. And I mean, obviously Rosie doesn't necessarily know, but
she's got no idea. She just wants a ball. And she doesn't know what it's just a scent to her. She doesn't know what it is. I've never sat down and asked her. It is, even in training, it blows my mind.
You said earlier on that you've always had dogs in your life. Was that from being a kid, or was all the way through?
Yeah, no, as long as I can remember. When I was a very small kid, we had a little dog called Corrie. I don't know where that name came from. That was the first dog that bit me. I poked her in the eye and she bit me. So, life lesson: don't poke a dog in the eye. I was only 3, I think, so it wasn't like I was 16 and poking dogs in the eye. We'd always had, as a kid, we always had a family dog. And then when I moved out, there was a few years without a dog. And then, I've currently got a little working Cocker Spaniel as a pet, who's not as much my responsibility now because I've got my 2. I've always had dogs. And who if you don't like dogs, what's wrong with you?
It sounds like a stupid question, but do you need to like dogs? Does everyone who works in there, are they dog people?
Yeah, you've got to be.
Yeah,
100%. I think that's like saying if you're a firefighter and you don't like water, or sleep. You've got to you've got to like dogs because again it's that bond. You've got to be comfortable around them. You've got to kind of understand them. It's because they're working for play and love. They're not doing it because they're getting a wage at the end of it. They're doing it for you basically. So you need that bond, and if that isn't there, the dog's not going to work for you. Not that they know they're working; they're playing with a reward at the end. So,
and was it always dog section you wanted to end up in, or?
Yeah, I think everyone joins the police, and I'm sure, everyone should join the police to be a dog handler. I certainly did, but then, like I say, it took me 10 years to get on there. But that more life got in the way, home life. So I had 2 small kids, wife, because it is a massive toll on your home life. Because when you finish here, like I've explained earlier, you go home and your dogs come with you. So it's not just a job; it is a way of life being a dog handler. When I finish at 7 or whatever time, that isn't my working day ending. I always wanted to do it. Didn't probably realise how much of an undertaking it was. But again, with anything, did my research and went, no, that is the job for me. And then kids were a bit older and had a house with a bigger garden, so it all just kind of fell nicely into place. But yeah, that was always my ambition. Whether I ever got there or not, which I did, luckily. But yeah, that was the ambition. So.
And when they do go home with you, where are they? You said they kennelled?
Yeah, they've got a very plush kennel at the bottom of my garden, so it's... and again, I'm sure some people have their opinions on keeping dogs outside the whole time. But they've got a very nice... the force pays for a very plush kennel. So it's a double kennel, so they've got their own space and run. It's insulated, it's weather proof, it's watertight. I give them blankets and straw and hay, and part of the reason we keep them outside is they, not that it toughens them up, that's the wrong phrase, but it gets them used to being outside. They just become harder to, because obviously we're working them in all weathers. So we don't want a dog that's used to nice central heating, and then we're asking them to go out on the moors for 3 hours in the cold and wet and work. They need to be a little bit tougher. Yeah, tougher probably is the right phrase than your average dog. But yeah, they're very, very well looked after. And like I say, Yolo, if it's -6 outside, even though he's got a lovely insulated bed box, he'll be out, spread eagle, asleep. He's not bothered by the weather one bit. When they retire, they'll come in the house. But again, the nature of the job, I don't want a dog that's well behaved in a house at the moment, which might sound odd, but if I'm searching a house, I don't want him to think, oh, I can't go on the sofa, oh, I can't go upstairs, oh, I can't do this. No, I want you to search it and search it properly. So if you have to jump on the sofa, jump on the sofa. Yeah, that's it, have at it. So, and so to have that, you couldn't have that at home, telling them no, and then take them to work and go, yes, it just confuses them and it makes things difficult. And equally, they do get mucky and messy, and it's nice to just give them a wash, stick them in the kennel, and then go and sort myself out.
And what's that? What is sort of off duty like with them as dogs? Do you treat them as though they are a pet, or are they still a police dog? How does that work?
Bit of both. They are still. So they're not my dogs. That's the other thing. They are the chief constable's dogs. I'm just a kind of caretaker looker. I'm the chauffeur for them. They are. They don't stop being police dogs until the day they retire. But saying that, both of them, when I take my uniform off and I'm dressed just like this in jeans and a t-shirt and a hoodie, they know we're not at work, so they do switch off a little bit. Rosie much more than him.
And do they get on with your dog as well?
Yeah. Because she's a cocker spaniel, she has much higher levels of energy than those two. But they all tolerate each other to a point. I say they all tolerate each other. They all tolerate each other, and then Rosie has enough and snaps at them both, and then that's it, done. She very much is a dog that knows what she likes and what she doesn't like, and she's not afraid of telling other dogs what that is. So
you said about retirement for dogs, and they can't work forever, much like us, and neither should they. So what happens when a dog comes to retirement, and how long does that generally take? Is it different for different types of dogs, or? Yeah.
So obviously we don't want to work the dogs right up to the point that they want to have. We ask a lot of them, so I think it's only fair that they have a steady life towards the end of their life, I say. So, for example, Yolo retires in 2029.
How old would he be then?
So he will be. How old will he be? Be getting on for 8, 9. But he's a big German Shepherd, so he will retire slightly earlier age-wise than maybe some of the Belgian Malinois and the Dutch herders, because they're smaller dogs. They live a longer life. The search dogs, again, they will have a longer working life just because they have a longer life in general. But they'll still all, being well, the plan is for them all to have a decent retirement and go and be a dog. Although saying that, if I was a dog, I'd want to be a police dog. They have the best life. Because they're having fun all the time, aren't they, when they're at work? So, we understand that they do need retirement as well. A little bit like us, they need to let their hair down, relax, become a sofa dog, put a bit of weight on, and maybe eat and drink things they ordinarily shouldn't. So when they retire, we as handlers have the option to keep them. And again, that is very much dependent on your home life. I know Dave Collier, PC Collier on the unit. I don't know how many dogs. He always seems to have a lot of dogs, and his 2 have just retired. So he's got 2 retired police dogs. I think he's got a couple of his own dogs, and now he's got his 2 new working dogs. So it's a massive undertaking. So if the handler wants them, they can keep them. If they don't or can't keep them, for various reasons, then they'll get offered for adoption. Quite often it's within force, and obviously there's quite a rigorous process. We don't just go, here's a police dog, thanks, see you later. We have to make sure they're going to the right home with the right person who will be able to not only give them everything they need, but also deal with the type of dog they're potentially getting. Because it wouldn't be fair to give someone who's never had a dog. Here's a retired police dog of 7-8 years that's had multiple bites and that can be a bit of a handful. So they I think Scott Riley, who you are having on, he's got retired police dog Riley, which either fits
Not
really
determinism there.
Yeah, either fits really nice or makes things really complicated. But top and bottom of it, they either go to the handler, they will be retired to, more often than not, someone in force, but they do go to members of the public sometimes as well. Equally, we have dogs. We will get dogs that won't necessarily make the grade, so we think that they're going to be a brilliant police dog, and then for whatever reason, they're not quite what we want them to be, so they will then, we don't just put them down, they will then get rehomed again to someone who's suitable to have them. It's a lot easier with the smaller dogs most of the time. Some of the smaller dogs can be a bit of a handful, but yeah, they get a nice life.
And you've obviously not had to go through this but to let that dog go and the relationship that you build up with it, that must be really difficult if your circumstances don't allow.
Yeah, so my plan is to keep Yolo 100%. I also want to keep Rosie, but it'll depend on how many dogs I've got. I think I would find I hope Rosie's not listening. I'd find it harder to give Yolo away than it would Rosie, but again, I've not had her that long. But yeah, I imagine it's like anything. Dogs don't last forever, do they? It's the worst bit about being a dog owner. Hopefully you're going to outlive them. So yeah, and imagine giving them away, it's a similar kind of wrench, although you can still see them, but it depends. You don't want to cause that confusion by seeing them all the time. So I know handlers have given them away, and yeah, I think it's hard. Because yeah, like I've said earlier, I spend more time with those dogs than I do anyone or anything else. So to then suddenly not be with them must be very, very, very strange.
Do you must talk to them when you're in the car?
Yeah. Embarrassingly so sometimes, because obviously now we've got the 30-second pre-record
on your body worn
cameras. Yeah. So you find yourself saying all manner of things. Some quite nice, some is a bit of a telling off. But yeah, you definitely, although we shouldn't talk to them like people, it does quite often happen. And also it's you don't become a dog handler if you're a people person. That might sound odd, but it's quite a lonely job, because it's just you and the dogs, and you're out. That's it. That is you. That is your. Obviously, we'll see my shift mates at the start of the shift, the end of the shift. We might meet up in the shift, but generally, the only people you're talking to for the majority of the time is a dog, and it's a one-way conversation. That's not just a dog handler. That's any dog owner. You talk to your dogs, and sometimes you forget you're doing it, and then realise it's a little bit embarrassing.
And you said, dog person must been. Was it always the dream to come in, be a dog handler?
Yeah. I love dogs. I have to say dogs, all animals. Not so keen on cats, or horses. That was an experience as a child. I got kicked, so we'll do that on another podcast. Childhood trauma or something. I've always loved dogs, and can you think of a better job to have, going out catching bad people with dogs?
Your best mate at the end of the day, isn't it?
And getting paid to do it. It's a brilliant job, really rewarding. It's just cool. You get to just cut about in fast cars with a dog, catching baddies. I can't think of anything I'd want to do other than that.
Derbyshire Police, how can I help?
So Andy, we've got some questions from the public, some of which we've sort of covered within our main chat there, but there are a couple of others.
Have I got anything better to do? Did I get something at school?
How do we get this bloke on here? But there's some bits that I think that that are quite specific, I think, and we sort of touched on it a little bit. But what do you think is the bit that either you or other people sort of underestimate about the job and about being a dog handler?
The impact on your home life. There's no two ways about it. I think a lot of people think, oh, you've got these dogs, you get them to work with dogs, and yeah, it is brilliant. But other than the days I get to kennel my dogs, so if I go on holiday or I'm going somewhere and I need to put the dogs in kennels because I physically can't look after them, I get a certain amount of days. That's not an unlimited amount of days. I only get a certain amount of days. So everyone else gets however many days off a year. I get far, far fewer because it sounds like a sob story, but I've got dogs to look after that, and they're not normal dogs. I can't just take him to the park and throw a ball for him because he's very dog aggressive. If someone tries to stroke it, there's just a huge risk. So Rosie's a little bit different, but the impact. So he's in the garden. So on a summer's day, once I have family round, I've got this thing at the bottom of the garden that potentially could cause them some serious damage. Obviously, it would never happen because of the way I've got my garden set up, the kennel and all the rest of it. But it's not just like having a couple of dogs at home. There's a huge responsibility that goes with it, and they need to be walked. I know some people, no criticism, maybe don't walk the dogs as often as others. Whereas even though they get on, I can't walk them together just because he's it can be a handful. So it's a pure it's my decision. It's a safety thing. I want to have 100% control of him. So because I've got 2 dogs, that's 6 walks a day minimum, which is on my days off. That takes a huge chunk of my day. And they're not normal dog walks. I can't just put some headphones in or be on the phone. I've got to have 360 vision because the number of joggers that grew up, and it's no fault of his. It's just it is what he does. What he does. He's not nasty. He's trained to defend himself, to bite people, to be a police dog. So the impact on home life is huge. And equally, if your dog needs to go to the vets or whatever, there's added responsibility that eats into your home life. That I think is the biggest shock, and it's unique to dog handlers. I don't think anyone else. I know we have people on call, but they can still sit at home with the feet up watching Strictly or whatever other stuff they watch. Whereas when my house is going to sleep, I'm getting ready to feed my dogs and walk my dogs, and equally I'm up first because I'm sorting the dogs out, so it doesn't impact the time I have with my kids and my wife, if that makes sense. So that is the biggest impact, that and the physical nature of it, that you're always aching or hurting somewhere, pretty much.
I mean, you talked about your love for Yolo and his big stupid head.
Yes.
But if it wasn't Yolo, who would be your favourite of the dogs?
I think everyone has their favourite dogs that aren't their own down at dog section. And mine for the last couple of years has been Lex, which is Sarah, who's on my shift's dog. But he's due to retire on a couple of days. I think it's his last set coming up.
Oh, wow.
So he's got 4 days left at work, and then he is be a man of leisure. But yeah, I like Lex just because he's a little bit mischievous. He looks like he's a German Shepherd. Looks like a proper police. You know, if you were to draw a police dog, you'd draw Lex. Bit stubborn, bit naughty, but yeah. So Lex would be probably my next favourite.
A kindred spirit, you might say.
Yeah, but there's. Do you know what? I can't think there's a dog down there that I don't like. There's a few that I'm a bit wary of, and a few that, push your buttons sometimes. But then, there's Alan, he's Chris Morris's dog, PC Morris's dog. So Alan's an absolute machine. He is. You would not want to be bitten by Alan. He's intense. He's ripped. I don't know if he goes to the gym or not. But you know, when we're walking him, obviously we have to walk each other's dogs if we're on holiday. He will bully you to fuss him. You will stroke him. You will give him a scratch. He's lovely. But when he's working, absolute different beast. Yeah, I wouldn't want to tackle him down a dark alley. But yeah, they're all nice dogs down there.
You mentioned, obviously, Yolo came with his name. I mean,
Yes.
PD Allen is sort of like the other end of that scale, isn't it, in terms of naming conventions? How do the names come about?
Generally, they just come with... So I'm sure Chris won't mind me mentioning it. He's had 3 dogs. He's had Arnold, Brian, and Alan.
He's had 3 sort of old blokes.
Yeah, it's like a darts team. The dog comes with a name. So unless it's something, depending on where we get the dogs from, because it might come with a name that might be a little bit controversial or is not suitable for a police dog, so it'll get changed. But yeah, generally the name they come with is a name that stays. So yeah, we've got some odd ones down there. I'm trying to think what else we've got.
Ultor is one that is a
Ultor,
slightly
yeah.
odd one.
Ultor. Let's go for it. Ultor, Piper, Stark. I'm going to forget one now, aren't I? Yolo, Alan, Bruno, Drogo, Kruger. So Drogo and Kruger, they had the names changed. They came from, I think it was Belgium.
I was going to say, are they all? So you've got some from England.
Yeah, so some are rescues, some are bought, some are from Belgium. So the dog world, and again, this isn't my area of expertise, but obviously the trainers go and pick suitable dogs. But when you want a dog, it's not always that there's a dog available. It's not like just going to a I don't know
supermarket,
or a car showroom and going, right, I'll have that one. And there might be dogs available, but they might not be suitable. So the dogs come from all over the place. We've got a couple. So we've got Elka and Bruno were rescue dogs. So I think they were both on death row for having bitten children. And obviously we've seen a bit of potential. That we're implying dogs that bite kids.
Rehabilitated.
Well, but the circumstances of it wasn't. It was maybe poor ownership rather than poor dog. Leaving dogs like that alone with small kids and cuddly toys is never going to end well. But either way, they got obviously a second life, as it were, and they're now brilliant police dogs. So some were bought in like Yolo, some have come from Holland, I think it was Holland, Belgium, I can't remember, somewhere out that way. So yeah, I could name all the dogs. I'm not going to.
So
it'll take me ages to figure out which ones I have.
There's some way you can sort of see like Drogo, presumably, is like.
So Drogo, I think.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Kruger, although he's spelt from Kruger National Park in South Africa, I think it is, or is it Botswana? Africa somewhere.
Yeah.
His handler's a big kind of horror.
Oh, so Freddy Krueger.
Yes.
Okay.
He'll probably hate me for saying that. And then, but I think they're the only 2 that we've changed recently. Oh, Piper. So Piper was Pepper Potts because she was from the Marvel.
Stark.
Yeah, Stark, the Marvel litter, but we can't have a police dog called Pepper Potts. So she got called Piper because it's similar. The problem is they might sound daft. They're just the dogs.
The
it's
dog's name.
Like anything. Once they've got the name, it's the name then.
So we're at the point in the episode now, Andy, where we have our tea break section. This is where we have questions just to get to know about you a bit more as a person,
exciting.
as a dog handler, as a cop. I think the one that all dog owners want, and obviously you've got some special requirements when it comes to a dog walk. But let's say with your own personal dog, and you were to go out for a walk.
Yeah.
What's your ideal dog walk, and where would that be?
No people, no livestock. That is my. I don't think you can better the Peak District for dog walks anywhere in the world. Obviously, you've got to be wary of sheep and cows and the odd llama, but I think it would be. So Lady Bower, there's a few walks there that I know that generally you don't see many other people or dogs. So, yeah, that would probably be my go-to, either really early in the morning or late at night, or say late at night, sunset-ish, kind of golden hour.
And you a music podcast, just the birds and the breeze?
Oh, yeah. I do not understand people who go out into the wide world and just listen, unless you're going for a regular dog walk on the same place, same time. But if you're out for a proper walk, don't put headphones in.
And we've said, obviously, you're driving about a lot north of the county.
Yep.
where are you stopping for coffees?
So again, it depends on where the work is. So the Yonderman Cafe out, is it going to be Wardlow? Bed out Stony Middleton towards Tideswell, between the two. It's on the left there. Does a brilliant breakfast. And yeah, so that'd be, but again, very rarely get out there.
And what would it be? What would be the order?
Just either a black Americano or maybe milk if I'm feeling exotic. Basic coffee. Nothing too fancy. No flavours. None of that rubbish.
And when you're out in the car, we've always said you have your conversations with your colleagues.
Yeah.
Do you have the radio on?
So usually I have Spotify on. Depends what day shift, it'll be the radio. Nights, yeah, I'll probably put a bit of music on.
Yeah.
Anything and everything. I'll listen to anything. So
Have the dogs got a favourite? Do they like particular music?
No, he'll be asleep. They're not bothered. They're very indifferent. And same with food. He's a bit of a sensitive soul, so he has to have special food because he's allergic to wheat and fish. But he also turns his nose up at McDonald's, won't touch it. Whereas Rosie the lab, she will eat. She's like a
she's a typical lab.
She will eat anything and everything, whether it's edible or not. She'll have a go. So you have to watch her. But yeah, they're indifferent about the music, but they don't get a choice anyway. So, but yeah,
that's the one bit you're in charge of.
yeah. I'll listen to the odd podcast. I don't want to plug any others, but there's a really good one called Real Survival Stories. I think it's on BBC Sounds, and they're essentially what it is from all over the world. People doing incredible things in difficult times, generally falling off cliffs and getting mauled by bears and things. But it's worth a listen.
And I think you've covered this slightly, and I would imagine you can know the answer. But what would you prefer, summer or winter?
Well, look at me. I'm not built for sun.
Spring or autumn.
For those listening, I am very, very ginger. I like winter, cold, crisp, and dry. Again, I don't mind the wet weather. It seems to have been relentless this year. But summer, if I'm not having to do anything or I'm on holiday. But yeah, working in summer with the dogs, because equally, obviously, even though we have air-conditioned cars, and if it's too hot, we don't work them.
Yeah.
Because we can't. It's not fair on them, unless it's an Article 2, as in, someone's going to die. Then we'll consider, maybe putting the dog at a little bit more risk than we usually would consider. But ordinarily, if it's too hot, they're not working. We'll take them for a swim somewhere, and then maybe do a bit of training, something shady and cool.
Nice. Good for you and them.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, saves me getting burnt.
Top stuff. Well, Andy, thank you ever so much for your time.
No problem.
Really appreciate it, and thank you for obviously your service for the people of Derbyshire.
Oh, I'm getting all gushy now. Don't worry about it. I still get paid. I'm not doing it for the good of my heart.
But it's a unique job and a one-off, isn't it? That you and
you've very much invested in it. Work at it. Yeah, there's no off switch to it, or very few off switches. So but I wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah, top stuff. And thank you for your time.
All right.
And thank you for listening. If you have any questions that you want to put to anyone else in the force, then you can send those to podcast@derbyshire.police.uk, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.